Welcome, we're playing black. Playing d4, we'll play f5 here. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make every single one of these an analysis. That's my new goal for the channel. Alright, so this is actually gonna be a reverse porcupine here. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think he could have played d5 there. Because the thing is this d5, e5, bishop g3, and I'm losing the pawn. But okay, c4 will play d6 here. Yeah, if I get e5 in one go, this is a reverse porcupine. This looks fine. This is mentioned in Marin's book on Dutch sidelines, I think. I don't know, I just think. I haven't studied chess in a few years. It's time to go. Bishop g5. All right. Knight e7 looks interesting. They would get the bishop pair. That looks a little annoying, actually. Yeah, what am I going to do? Knight e7 or knight b8? Which one is better? Knight e7, he takes. I think my bishops are going to get stuck in there. That looks like a reverse bird then, where he's gotten the chop this way. Play knight b8 here. Overall, this looks very promising, though, because he's going to have to give away his dark squared bishop soon. Otherwise, it's just going to get trapped. Bishop h4, g5, bishop g3, f4. Y'all know the deal. This looks perfect. Takes. Okay, we'll take with the queen. e4, interesting. That is interesting stuff. If I play g5, I'm allowing him to blockade on the light scores with takes and bishop d3 and so forth. g6 is important. We want to be able to take back with the g-pawn. Okay. h5. Bishop is going to shine through here. Dude is going to be in a lot of trouble now. There's a reason you're not supposed to trade your dark squared bishop as white against the king's Indian. And this is exactly why. Bishop h6. Look at that. Is he going to let me drill the bishop into e3? That'd be picture perfect. Let my bishop in. Ha ha ha. You got to let my bishop in, man. It's time to go. Okay, yes. Beautiful. Good luck castling there, pal. Yeah, this should already be almost winning. I just need to figure out a way to mobilize my pieces. Now with the bishop already on the right side of the board, I could play f4 whenever I want. Probably I should play a6 at some point just to stop knight b5. Yeah, I should have. It would have been better if I could have stopped that. We'll play rook h7 though to keep coverage over this. Man could play queen a4, and then I would play something like king f8. Okay, let's push his knight back. And try to bring the knight to c5 soon. Yeah, this is really tricky business. I could also play a5. I don't like the idea of knight b5, but yeah, knight b5 isn't actually a concern. Knight b5, I'm going to play knight a6. My knight's going to be going to these squares. Okay. Nothing to worry about here, especially with a5. My bishop is always going to be secure on this side of the diagonal. I guess he's going to try to castle queenside. He's going to play knight bc3, try to castle, but then I could play queen g5 to keep my queen's sights on this square. There. What is that about? I guess he wants to play knight a4. Yeah, I guess he's playing knight a4. Should I throw in a check? h4 is also an idea. I don't even understand what knight c3 is about. We'll just play h4 here. I guess he's going to play knight f2. I don't know. This looks really precarious. This looks disturbingly precarious. Maybe I could put my knight on a6. My bishop probably should have gone back somewhere else, like b6. Yeah, I think he's going to play knight f2, but that's not a good solution long term. Definitely not a good solution. Knight f2, I should really take care to make sure he can't castle queenside. Yeah, castling queenside would be a problem. Let's play queen g5 here. If he wants to castle kingside, I'm fine with that. Just don't castle queenside, please. He could play knight h3. I'll just drop the queen back. Can't play queen d2 because of bishop e3. Okay, knight h3. Should I throw in a check or not? No, let's just play queen h6. Bro really can't do anything here. I'm just slowly improving my pieces. This is the Raven Sturt story. I'm striving for greatness. I'm gonna drill the knight into b4, also potentially c5, play bishop d7, castle queenside, and then finally make some type of breakthrough. Oh, he could take there. I didn't realize that. I completely missed that he could take there. All right, well, wait. If I take here, he takes with the bishop, I can throw in a check. This is looking a little precarious for him. I definitely messed this up, though. I can't believe I hung that pawn. I just wasn't paying attention. I fell asleep at the wheel, as they say. Yeah, okay, he takes here, I take here, I play queen e3. This got very messy for no reason. This was careless on my part. Let's start with the check. We'll start with the check. He has a lot to choose from here. If he plays king d1, I'm going to be able to check and take. Well, actually, that wouldn't really do much. Knight e2. All right, I'll take here. He'll take back. I'll play rook f7. I think I still have interesting compensation, but yeah, I definitely missed the mark somewhere by allowing him to win this pawn. This was completely unnecessary. Frankly, I'm embarrassed and a little ashamed. Okay, if he throws in a check, I go here. He could throw in a check and win. He could win some material, but that's going to get messy, though. That's going to get insanely messy because his queen is getting really far disconnected from everything. Yeah, this is bizarre. This is such a strange position. Queen h5. All right. Bro is trying to play knight g5. Bro's trying to get active in the cabbage patch. If I play knight d7, knight g5, I think I could castle queenside. I could also check a bit. This is bizarre. I could throw in a check. I could throw in a check and then move right back, but I don't really see the point just yet. Um, Knight d7, knight g5. I could throw in a check there. No, that doesn't do anything. I really want to throw in this check, but it just doesn't do that much. The whole idea is knight d7, knight g5. I castle. He's going to take with the knight there. I'm down a rook, but his king is extremely weak. And in that type of position there, if I could just play rook g8, I'm going to take on g2. That looks great. Yeah, this is this is mind-blowing. I don't know what's happening here. If there was just a normal way for me to defend this rook, things could be better. But I can't defend the rook, as far as I can tell. King e7, they're going to trade queens. I do not want to trade queens here. If he trades queens and brings the knight to e4, I should be losing. King f8? No, then he just checks. All right, knight d7, knight g5. I think I have to just sacrifice the rook. Oh, why didn't I put the knight on a6? That was the answer. The knight should have gone to a6. I can't believe that. Yeah, no, the knight on a6 would have been a difference because then it would go to b4 and d3. That would have. All right, okay. Hopefully I can still get a win here, but I messed that up. As soon as I played knight d7, I realized I'd let the win slip through my fingers. I got to shave. I'm getting on a flight in a couple days to Argentina, and yeah, it's better when I don't have facial hair. My photo lines up with my passport. All right, rook f8. Rook g8 might have been better, but rook g8, I just realized I wasn't really threatening anything because he always has queen h8 there. So rook g8 would not have actually threatened to take. This is really tricky business. Down a rook, but I have a lot of checks. Knight h6, that's a very weird move. I've never seen anything like that. Okay, I could start. Okay, his knight is coming around to g4, though. That's his plan. That's his grand goal. Throw in a check. King d2. If I throw in a check, he just plays king f1. He's going to play knight g4 soon. That's the big issue. Okay, well, yeah, another thing I have to watch out for is queen e8. I gotta watch out for a lot of these things. Wait, can we play queen f2, king d1, queen g2? Why can't I do that? Because queen f2, king d2, I have bishop b4, king d3, I have knight c5. All right, I'm going to go for that. I think this works. My rook can't get that frisky because I have to watch out for this checkmate here. There? Alright, let me just take the pawn. Taking the pawn, I'm going to score a rook. Give me that rook, pal. It's time to go. All of a sudden, this looks winning for me again. Because, yeah, I'm threatening to win 2 rooks here. Bro's in a lot of trouble here. I guess he's going to try rook c1, but then I take king c2. I could just play queen g2. Or queen h2. Yeah, this looks really, really hard for him to defend. I just completely missed that move, if I'm being honest. But here we'll play bishop b4. This is a very big threat. This bishop is so annoying to him. I guess he's going to take on h4, but then I can take on f3, and I'm threatening queen d3. This is bananas. Down a full rook, but yeah, it's very, very tricky for him. He takes on h4, I take on f3, he plays king c2, somehow or another he's getting out there. How is that happening? Well, then I can't play knight c5 because he has a check. And if I could just check on the diagonals, I would probably be winning. But his queen is there. His queen and knight are watching the show. This is ridiculous. Maybe I should have played bishop f2, because then that would have covered h4. Anyway, he takes... No, if he takes, I have queen g6. Look at that. Queen g6 just going for mate. Yeah, that's the way to do it. There. Completely missed that move. Did not see that move. Yeah, I gotta calculate a little better. Did not calculate that. We'll play queen f2 here. There? Why can't I play queen e3? What's the issue? What am I missing here? I feel like I must be missing something. Queen e3? I'm threatening mate. The threats never stop. This is the GM Raven channel. He throws in a check. Or no, he plays queen g5. That's not a check. I go check, king here, takes. Or I could take the knight. That's winning. Queen e4, but I have mate. That's the end of the game. That was a wild game. That was a mess. Let's look at the game review. Let's go to the replay. All right, yeah, it looked great, and then I was down a rook, and then it took a dive still. All right, okay, so here got the normal Dutch knight c6. This is okay. I thought d5 was going to be an issue. e5, bishop g3. Oh, I have knight e7 here. I thought I was just losing the pawn, but no, I'm going to get a pawn back. This is fine then. Interesting. All right. So c4, d6, d5. This is known as a strategic mistake here. He needs to keep his eyes on e5 to not let us achieve e5 that easily. He needs to play knight f3. And in this type of position, things are going to eventually stabilize in... this is literally going to look like a reverse Chernobyl porcupine here. We're going to be playing queen e8 and e5. We're going to slowly push for e5, or e6, queen e7, and then e5. Yeah, computer's pointing out some weird stuff, but that is the main idea is to push e5 here. If guy plays like a computer, then you might have to settle for something else. Like queen b3, they have ideas of c5. King h8 would be an interesting idea here. Knight e4? What is knight e4 about? Castles and then what? Castles, okay, well you have e5 here, but knight e4, normally they can complicate Europe pushing e5. Like they could throw in a check, king h8, rook d1, and it's just very tricky for you to push e5, right? Like there's a pin here. If you play queen e8, I assume that there's going to be knight d5, knight b5, but yeah, there's just some issues here. It's really not that simple. Okay, so man played d5, strategic mistake, I played e5, knight b8. Yeah, I was a little bit afraid of knight e7, because knight e7 takes, and I didn't think I had a good position here. Yeah, he's a bit better here. I have the bishop pair, but it's literally like a bird reversed, right? Both of these bishops are going to get completely blocked in by these pawns here. This is not going to be good. All right, so knight b8, knight c3, e4, g6. We play h5 here, and already I'm much better. Bishop is just drilling through everywhere. This all looked perfect. Yeah, bishop e3 is good. Rook h7 is inaccurate. I should have just played knight a6. I got a little too fancy. Because now I'm just going to play bishop d7 and castle queenside. And then I'm going to start making moves on the king side to open things up. Um, yeah, I just got a little too fancy. Rook h7 is just a bad move, and in the end, having to burn a tempo on this rook uh, is going to be very costly later on, especially when his bishop breaks through here. So queen c2, a6, knight c3. Yeah, I should just be winning here. My control of the dark squares is much too powerful. This has turned into a fantastic version of a King's Indian defense. a5, yeah, I was just getting a little too fancy here. f4. f4 is nice. Look at that. Knight cannot get out now. Yeah, if he plays knight d1, we'll just do something like bishop a7. Computer like queen h4 more, but yeah, bishop a7 is coming. Now the idea is queen h4 is going to be very strong because queen h4, g3 I can take, and he cannot take back because the rook is pinned. So something like this. Here, queen h4, g3 takes, and he has to take with the knight. Oh, sorry, here he can take with the pawn because this knight is defending. Sorry. So let me choose another move to show this example. So yeah, like knight c3, then we can play queen h4 here. Computer likes other things because queen h4, king d2. Apparently now his king is getting out. But this is a classic idea, though, to at least force his king to start running rather than castling. All right, so knight bc3, a5, knight d1. I should have brought my bishop farther back. Computer's now saying it likes bishop c5, but I think bishop b6 or a7 were better. I'm keeping this square cleared for the knight. Knight is going to do a lot better on c5 now. All right, so bishop c5, knight c3, h4. Yeah, this was bad. I was just getting a little too fancy. I should have just played knight a6 here. I was trying to keep his king from getting castled at all, and it would have just been better for me to, cut my losses. If he plays knight f2 here, f4, interesting. What is the idea of f4? Queen g5 makes so much more sense. Look at that. You're just hitting everything here. This looks so much more picturesque. What is the idea of f4? If he castles queenside, what is the grand plan here? Queen h4. Oh wow, the knight is just trapped here. And I think one of the key ideas here is that if rook f1, knight b4 here, now there's this tactic here with queen f2. We're going to take here with a fork. Beautiful move there. All right. So in this position, though, I played h4, man played knight f2, queen g5, and this, yeah, queen h6 was a huge mistake. I should just keep this protected. If I keep this protected, he's never going to be able to get this pawn, and without this pawn, his bishop never gets good, his knight never gets the e4 square. So many things in my position just are contingent on the fact that this pawn remains on f5. And I just completely forgot about the fact that this pawn was hanging here. Queen h6 is an enormous blunder. Takes, takes, takes. I threw in a check. This is another mistake. Apparently I should take and play rook g7. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't want to trade queens, but yeah, if he goes for the queen trade here, this would be winning with the rook and bishop combo. And I'm going to be able to play king e7 at some point and hunt down this pawn. This knight is really awful here. Look at it. It's completely dominated. Can't go here, can't go here, can't go here, and can't go here. All right, so I threw in a check. Bit of a blunder. Knight e2, takes, takes, rook f7, queen h5. I was a little worried about check, but I knew that this was going to be crazy. Wow, I'm winning here. His queen is winning a rook, but look at this. Check, king f1. Of course, he can't go to d1 because of the mate. And after this, we take, take, knight f2. I play bishop c5. He could throw in a check if he wants, because now that the threats are just getting too dangerous around his king. And if king e1, though, I take... Wow, this is mate. Look at this. Check here, check here. If he goes this way, this is mate. This bishop and queen combo are so strong. And meanwhile, if he runs to c2, we could take king c3, check here. I could definitely take on b2 and just win the queen. That would definitely be good. But where is the win? a4? Yeah, if king b4, now queen b2 is going to be mate. That's mate. And after king a3, we have... These checkmates are actually pretty hard to find. b4... Oh, we can take en passant. I felt that there was going to be a checkmate here, and there is. But it's going to take a bit longer than two moves. But no, just takes, takes, and rook a3 is going to be mate. All right, that's wild. So in the game, he made a better decision by playing queen h5. Queen h5 is a very strong move. Pins my rook, all but decides that the knight is going to come to g5. Here, I can't believe I didn't play knight a6 here, because in these positions now, yeah, if he takes here, my knight is getting to b4. I saw this idea, and the knight's going to get to d3. I should be winning here. It's still such a strong attack, and if he takes here, At the very least, I could check and then take another rook. I probably have something better, though. Yeah, rook f8, he's not going to be able to hold all his material together. Like, what if he plays rook d1 here? What is the idea here? Check here. I could just take the knight. Yeah, and he's completely tied down here. His queen has to watch this f2 score, but he literally cannot move anything in this position. And the threat of rook f3 is enormous. Game should be over. It's going to take a bit of work. Like, he can start checking me with queen h8, but at the end of the day, it's the end of the day. All right, so I played knight d7. But wait, actually, I want to look at that a bit more. So knight a6, knight g5. Apparently, knight g5 is a mistake. If I play knight a6, he just plays a3. Wow, and I have nothing to do. Yeah, both of my pieces, their play hinges on the use of that square, and so, wow, I just have nothing to do then. All right, so let's go back to the game. So in the game, I played knight d7, knight g5, castle's queenside, knight takes, rook f8. Yeah, he's up a rook, but he has to watch out for all these different checks on the dark squares. This is really, really dangerous stuff. Man played knight h6. I thought knight h6 was a great move because the knight's coming around to g4. What did the computer want? Knight g5? Apparently he's... Well, yeah, will the computer make up his mind? What is it? It says knight g5, then it says a3. All right, apparently a3 is best. Bishop can't go to b4 anymore. It's crazy that he can play such a slow move in this position, but it looks like it's true. e4 would be my first instinct here, with the idea that if takes, then we're going to have something like queen f2. Yeah, okay, and here we have queen f2, queen e3. His king is a lot more exposed here. This would be a draw. But instead he could just play rook f1, and I have nowhere to attack. My bishop cannot get to this diagonal. Yeah, if my bishop could get to this diagonal, I'd have checkmate on 2 with bishop b4 and queen d2, but as it stands, I can't, and therefore I'm lost. Yeah, okay, so if a3, what am I supposed to do here? King b8, rook f1, and then queen b3, and I'm just going to start grabbing more pawns here. My bishop is going to be strong. That's crazy. Look at that. It looks like I'm going to be down a full rook in these positions. I'm down a full rook in these positions, but his king is just so weak, and my bishop is so strong. And his king is pretty much, unless I make a lot of mistakes and let his king over to h1, his king is always going to be a bit distraught here and a bit precariously placed. Yeah, even in this position, anything can happen. Like if he makes a mistake and gives me time to get my knight to d3 here, I could still be winning. All right. Anyway, let's go back. So when he instead played knight h6, I threw in a check. Apparently bishop b4 was slightly better. I don't really see the difference. I threw in a check, king d1. I took. Apparently I should play e4 here. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Look at that. Takes, we get the knight to e5. This would be glorious. Knight e5 is an inaccuracy now? Yeah, computer's always criticizing my play. But anyway, yeah, we could take here and then knight e5. Is that the idea? When is computer going to stop criticizing my moves? Okay, well, this is the idea. I figured out the idea, everyone. This is the point. We don't have rook f1. What is the idea?
A few moments later.
Having looked at the computer now for a good 20 seconds, I understand the idea. This was the point. Our queen can take here in this position, right? In this variation, after rook e1, I still have the broken mouse, guys. After rook e1, bishop b4, rook g1, I cannot take on e4 here, and that's a crucial difference. So instead, I should have played e4 first, takes, then gone through all this, and now, after rook g1, I can take on e4, and my queen is going straight to the cabbage patch. Check on d3, and probably going to mate somehow. Something like here, check, and this is going to be mate. That's a classic one. So I took on g2, he played rook e1, I played bishop b4. This is a mistake. Just completely missed that he has rook g1. Yeah, if I had seen that he had rook g1, I would have probably played something like bishop f2. Apparently here now, though, he could just trade the queens with queen g4. And if I take on h2, he has rook f1. My queen is sidelined here. My queen is sidelined here, and all of a sudden, I'm not going to be able to activate this knight. If I ever play king b8, he'll take the knight, but where else is my king going to go? If I play king d8, he at least can start checking me. My king is going to have to go somewhere a lot more vulnerable to activate the knight. Yeah, this is wild stuff. So in the game, I slipped up. What should I have done, though? Apparently queen f2, and I'm just like playing a balancing act here. His king is still weak. This is very similar to that other position we looked at. I'm going to be down a rook, but we're going to play king b8, take on f3, and his king is going to be in perpetual danger. A lot of his pieces are going to have to be devoted purely to defense. I should be losing or close to losing. Computer's like giving very mixed signals here. Its top line is not winning, but then what it's saying here is winning. So suffice to say, white is close to winning. But regardless, it's still going to be a tricky thing. I think black would have a lot of practical chances here. And actually, no matter what happens here, black is going to have a lot of practical chances. Technically, though, I am losing after bishop b4. He plays rook g1, queen f2, and queen g4 is just a losing mistake. What should he have played here? a3. Yeah, my bishop gets kicked out. Bishop gets kicked out, and if my bishop has to move back, queen e3 doesn't do anything. He's just going to play rook c1 and slowly fortify everything. Even in this position, though, I would still have a lot of practical chances just because he always has to watch out for tactics coming at his king from all angles. But even so, yeah, this would have been a pretty bad position to have to deal with. Anyway, man plays queen g4, I play queen e3. He plays queen e4, but this already looks terrible. Like, he has no way to stop this checkmate. I guess he has to try queen g5, but then I throw in a check, and I'm going to take here. Once I'm winning some material back, you know the game is over. Like right now, the attack is only continuing. I could take here. I could also play bishop c5, bishop e3. I could play knight c5, knight d3. White is completely lost here, and the game should be over. Man played queen e4, and I just went for the checkmate, and that was the game. Let's think about some takeaways from this game. So takeaway number 1, if you're playing the Dutch, try to get your pawns on f5 and e5. That is a really critical goal in the Dutch, and my opponent made a big mistake by allowing me to get the structure free of charge. With this e5 move, I was able to counterattack. If he takes our knight, we take the bishop. The second takeaway is that in King's Indian structures, you better hold on to this f5 pawn for dear life. As it turned out, I just blundered. I made a few careless moves. I blundered the pawn, and once that happens, white's light-scored bishop becomes great, and even more importantly, his knight is going to get a fantastic score on e4. I was always worried about these positions after takes, because in these positions, if he has time to stabilize and put a knight on e4, even if material was equal, even if I wasn't down a pawn, I would still be doing very badly. With the fact that I'm also down a pawn, I should be dead lost here. This is the knight's dream square against the King's Indian, and for that reason, you need to be very careful about losing the f5 pawn outright. Normally, when you're getting the tension between f5 and e4, you need to make sure that you can always recapture with the g-pawn in King's Indian structures. And what's takeaway number 3? Takeaway number 3 is that
It's time to go!